Limitations of educational research. Educational research plays a vital role in understanding teaching practices, student behavior, policy development, and school systems. It guides stakeholders in making informed decisions and improving learning. Outcomes. However, like any form of research, it has its limitations. Being aware of these limitations allows researchers, educators, and readers to interpret findings with caution and context. Contextual dependence. One major limitation of educational research is its high dependency on context. Educational settings vary widely. What works in one school, city, or country may not work in another. For instance, a study on project-based learning conducted in a private school in an urban area may not yield the same results when applied to a public school in a rural setting. Cultural differences, socioeconomic backgrounds, and teaching styles all contribute to this variation. This means researchers must be careful in generalizing their findings beyond their specific setting. Difficulty in controlling variables. Unlike laboratory experiments, educational research is conducted in real-life settings like classrooms, which are full of uncontrolled variables. Factors such as student motivation, teacher personality, classroom environment, and even the weather can affect outcomes. For example, if you're researching the effect of interactive teaching tools on student performance, how can you be sure the improvement wasn't due to a particularly engaging teacher or a group of highly motivated students? 3. Ethical constraints. Education involves people, often children, and ethical standards must be upheld. These ethical constraints, while necessary, sometimes limit what can be studied. For instance, a researcher may want to explore the long-term effects of educational neglect, but cannot deliberately withhold resources from a group of students for the sake of a study. This limits the types of interventions or experiments that can be conducted, especially when randomization or control groups are involved. Small sample sizes. Educational research often relies on limited sample sizes due to constraints in time, access, or funding. This impacts the statistical power of the study and reduces the ability to generalize findings. A case study of 30 students may provide deep insights into their experiences, but cannot confidently predict how all students would react in similar situations. Therefore, conclusions must be framed as context-specific and exploratory, rather than universally applicable. Subjectivity and bias. Despite efforts to remain objective, bias can creep into educational research. Teachers, students, and even researchers may unknowingly influence the outcome. For example, students may perform better simply because they know they are being studied, a phenomenon known as the Hawthorne effect. Similarly, a researcher with a strong belief in a teaching strategy might interpret qualitative data in a way that supports their viewpoint. These biases can distort findings and affect credibility. Horibosirux. Rapidly changing environments. Education is a dynamic field. Curriculum standards change, new technologies emerge, and pedagogical trends shift rapidly. This makes it challenging for research findings to remain relevant over time. A study on chalkboard teaching methods might have been valuable in 2005, but is less applicable today in digitally integrated classrooms. Therefore, educational researchers must constantly adapt and update their frameworks to remain useful. Reliance on self-reported data. Much of educational research, particularly qualitative studies, relies on interviews, surveys, and questionnaires. These instruments collect self-reported data, which can be affected by memory gaps, exaggeration, or social desirability bias. A teacher might report using student-centered strategies more frequently than they actually do, or a student might exaggerate study hours. This affects the reliability and validity of the research outcomes. 8. Challenges in measuring outcomes. Learning is complex and multifaceted, making it difficult to measure outcomes precisely. While test scores offer some insight, they do not capture all aspects of learning, such as critical thinking, creativity, or emotional growth. For instance, a program designed to enhance student empathy may show limited results in traditional assessments, but may have deeply impacted classroom dynamics and peer relationships. Data that is harder to quantify. Limitations of time and Resources researchers often face time constraints, especially in academic settings like master's or doctoral programs. This can limit the length and depth of studies. A longitudinal study that tracks students over 5 years may not be feasible within a 2-year thesis timeline. Likewise, limited funding can restrict access to advanced tools, software, or diverse participants, which may compromise the quality or scope of the research. Influence of external stakeholders. Educational research may be influenced by policymakers, funding agencies, or institutions that have a vested interest in specific outcomes. This pressure may lead researchers to focus on topics that are politically relevant rather than those that are most needed. It might also create bias in reporting, results to align with expected conclusions. This influence can diminish the impartiality and independence of the research. Language and cultural barriers. In international or cross-cultural studies, language differences and cultural nuances can create barriers in data collection and interpretation. A question that makes perfect sense in English may not translate accurately into another language, or may carry different connotations. For example, asking students about their participation in class may yield different responses in cultures where speaking out is discouraged or interpreted differently. Tolkers. Interpreting qualitative data. While qualitative research is rich in detail, it is inherently interpretive and may be influenced by the researcher's perspective. Thematic analysis of interview data, for instance, involves categorizing responses based on the researcher's understanding. Two researchers analyzing the same transcript might arrive at different themes. This subjectivity can affect the consistency and reproducibility of the findings. Acknowledging limitations strengthens credibility. It's important to note that recognizing limitations does not weaken your study, it strengthens it. Demonstrating awareness of your study's constraints shows academic honesty and critical thinking. In your Chapter 2, Review of Related Literature, you can even include a brief critique of previous studies by pointing out their limitations. In Chapter 3, Methodology, you should also clearly state the anticipated limitations of your own study and how you plan to minimize them. Examples in thesis writing. Suppose you are writing a thesis on online learning engagement among high school students. You might mention that your study is limited to one school district and may not reflect national trends. Or, if you conduct interviews with only 10 students, note that the sample size restricts generalizability. If your survey only measures motivation through self-rating scales, acknowledge that actual behavior may differ. Conclusion: understanding and communicating the limitations of educational research is a hallmark of responsible scholarship. It helps readers interpret findings appropriately and guides future researchers in addressing gaps. As a thesis writer, you should embrace these limitations, not as flaws, but as realities of research that offer learning opportunities and room for improvement. If you find this content helpful, subscribe to stay updated on the next tips for research paper writing. Feel free to comment below with topics you'd like us to cover in future content. Thank you.
Late night coffee cup, minds in a race, staring at the screen, trying to find my place. Outlines messy, deadlines tight, gotta make this thesis shine so bright. Sources, research, writing flow, draft and edit, take it slow. Citations right, no mistakes, one more page, oh for goodness sake. Write it, cite it, don't deny it, every word refine, revise it, step by step, don't lose your mind, that degree's about to shine. Lit reviews long, but I push ahead, methodologies got me seeing red. Data's done, now analyze, find the gaps and theorize. Feedback's in, don't be push ahead. Methodology's got me seeing red. Data's done, now analyze. Find the gaps and theorize. Feedback's in, don't be stressed. Rewrite, refine, do your best. Presentation's up, take a breath. This thesis stands the test. Write it, cite it, stay excited. All this work, can't deny it. Step by step, you're almost there. That thesis life, it's only fair.